Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really popular piece of online self-help content, one that defines a specific cultural archetype, the so-called beta male.
Whoa, okay, so right out of the gate, the source material we're looking at, a video from alex.com, hits you with this definition. It's super direct, pretty provocative, right? It's all about defining this character not by what they do, but by what they don't do, what they avoid.
Now, the source actually lists 15 different signs. So to make sense of it all, we've kind of bundled them into these 5 main themes. It'll help us see how the argument builds and really paints the full picture they're going for.
All right, first up, the entire foundation of this idea, the whole thing, rests on this comparison, this sharp contrast between two types of guys. And you've probably seen this before. It's a huge deal in some of these online self-improvement circles. And here it is, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you've got the alpha. He's the winner, right? He's got the charisma, the confidence, that strong presence. And then on the other side, you have the beta, who's defined by, well, the opposite. Mediocre, careful, and always trying to avoid risk and confrontation. So you might be asking, why is this even a thing now? Well, the video argues that this archetype is basically a product of our times. It points to stuff like participation trophies and says, see, our society is becoming soft. We're encouraging people to avoid challenges instead of facing them head on. Okay, let's move on to the next big theme. This is where we get into the internal stuff, the mindset. According to the source, it's a way of thinking that's really just stuck in place, totally rooted in stagnation and fear. So a bunch of different behaviors get grouped together here. And what you end up with is this picture of a person who feels, well, completely powerless. Like they're trapped, their life isn't improving, they let other people make their big life decisions, and they're always backing down from tough spots. You know, whether it's standing up to a bully or even just saying no to someone. And the video makes a really important point here about escapism. It's not just talking about, kicking back and enjoying a TV show or a video game. No, the argument is that this becomes a way to avoid your reality. You're using what it calls junk media to escape a life you don't like, instead of, actually trying to fix it. Okay, so what happens when that internal mindset meets the outside world? That's our next section, how all this stuff supposedly plays out in your social life and your relationships. This is fascinating. Let's talk about the friend zone. The source frames this in a really specific way. It's not something that just happens to you. Nope, they argue it's the direct result of your own actions, or inaction. Basically, by hiding your romantic interests and just playing the part of the supportive friend, the shoulder to cry on, you end up, well, stuck. And it doesn't stop there. The source points to other social signs too. Things like always being a follower, never a leader, being seen as the weakest link in your friend group, even little things like avoiding eye contact. They also bring up not being sexually active, tying it all back to that same idea of passivity we talked about before. All right, theme number 3. This one is all about the physical side of things. The core idea here that how you present yourself on the outside is a direct mirror of how you feel about yourself on the inside, your self-respect. And they break it down into 4 parts: style, grooming, posture, and health. The message is pretty clear. If you're physically weak or you don't take care of how you look, you're basically telling the world you can't even take care of yourself. And according to the source, that makes you a burden on others. And this quote just nails the point they're trying to make. You're an extra in this movie. Oof. The idea is that if you don't take care of your physical presence, you become invisible. You're not the main character, you're just part of the scenery in your own life. Okay, so after laying out all these signs, the video completely shifts gears. It's not just about pointing out a problem anymore. Now, it's about offering up a solution, a prescription, if you will. And they're very clear about their intention. They say, look, we're not trying to offend you. This is supposed to be like a cold shower, a shock to the system, a wake-up call that's meant to get you to look in the mirror and actually want to make a change. So this wake-up call leads you to a crossroads. According to the video, there are really only 2 types of people who fit this description. You have the ones who see it in themselves and say, okay, I need to improve. And then you have the ones who just do nothing about it. And that brings everything to this one final, really stark choice. It's presented like this. Path number 1, you accept this truth and you work to get better within the existing rules of the game. Path number 2, you try to change the rules. You try to normalize what the source calls a negative reality. Basically, you demand the game itself be changed so you can win. So when all is said and done, the source presents this whole framework as a tough love path to getting better, a direct route to self-improvement. And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Is this kind of thing a useful blueprint for success, or is it just another harmful label that holds people back?